editing note with the creek Spey switch fishing tip. Pay attention to the whole video, because in that no less do I talk about using these little switch rods and how I set them up for swinging and casting in the creeks. I got a casting, in the middle of all that, I got a casting tip, and I also have a presentation tip. So as you watch the video, get through the whole video, no less do I talk about the setup, I'll also talk about how I'm actually doing some casting and some of the presentations I do in these creeks. Alright folks, I'm on one of my creeks here, got my little creek Spey rod, and the little fishing tip for today is actually Spey rods and creeks, small creeks. The first thing is, this is a 10.5 foot switch rod, nice little switch grip on it, click drag reel. We can't always go to big rivers and play with our Spey rods. A lot of times what we have near us is creeks, but that doesn't mean we can't have a good time with and enjoy Spey casting, swinging flies, and do the Spey stuff on a creek. We just got to scale everything down. Obviously we're not going to use a 15-foot rod and a 110-foot double taper in here. This little 10-foot 6-weight is rigged up with a short OPS gadget head, which is about 15 feet long. I got a small little 10-foot, not even that, I think an 8-foot floating tip on it. I'm going to use the long floating leader. It just works good in this piece of water. If I want to run sink tips, I'll probably stay with the poly leaders, because if you're in creeks, don't get too carried away with your heavy leaders, because you will anchor them. So I use like poly leaders, like 5 foot, 7 foot. Keep everything, all we're doing is just pairing and sizing things down for the water we're fishing. But we can still play around the Spey casting, we can still swing flies, and we can shoot line. We just have to just pair down for the water. And with the creeks, with these small little 10.5 footers, you want to, oh by the way, a light action rod too. These 10-foot switch rods, when they get a little bit more one-handy style casting, when they get around 10.5, but if you get a softer action or line it up, you'll slow it down, then it'll respond more to traditional Spey style casting. So that would be kind of part of the gear tip. But the biggest thing is just pare everything down, compact it, and then we can go ahead and you can do a lot of your different casting, and we can swing flies. Like I said, today I'm going to run, because of the creek conditions, river conditions around a creek, the creek conditions, we're going to more dictate that it's going to be a lot easier for me just to run a 8 to 10 foot leader, a BB split shot, and pull my fly down. And then we're just going to swing through the pools, see what we can do. And of course we got a lot of stuff in the back, so Spey style casting will work. If you don't have a 10.5 foot little grip switch rod, keep in mind that OPS, which is a great company for this type of stuff, they make those shorter heads will work great on like a 10-foot one-handed rod, and then you can do all that style of casting off of one-handed rod. So you don't have to scour the universe for a small little 10.5 foot 6-weight, and they are out there. There's a lot of companies that make great 10.5 foot switches. You can do that, or you can just take what you have and just use it like a 7-weight or an 8-weight. 10 foot works best, one-handed rod, and just line in accordingly. In fact, a friend of mine does that. I think he's got a 9.5 foot 6-weight that we lined up, and it's just a casting joy. So let's see what we can do, and I'll show a little bit of the casting and see if we can find a fish. If you're watching some of the casting I'm doing, you notice every once in a while, and the rod comes down and kind of going sideways like that. What I'm trying to do is side cast. Instead of doing a traditional D-loop overhead, I'm trying to get everything tipped on the side because, well, as you all know, fishing around creeks, we got to fish around trees. And what I'm trying to do is just kind of get the fly to come, or the line to kind of get the fly to go under the tree. It's often not very pretty, but it's one of those things we do fishing creeks, and it's something we can kind of come off to a normal cast. Instead of going like this, we just try to build the D-loop and come around the side. And it's also a cast that we can get away with the shorter switch rods, shorter Spey rods, and the compact Skagit heads allow us to do some of that type of unorthodox style Spey casting. So that's just one of the little options that we can do on the creeks with these creek switches and Speys with the shorter, more compressed heads. It allows us to fish around a lot more structure easily. No less do we have to worry about a back cast. We also got to worry about where our fly lands and getting the fly where it is without ending up into the trees. You know, it's just as easy to overcast on a small creek with a short rod as it is on a big river with a big rod. So that's what I was trying to do, is just kind of get it in, because I was fishing around trees and coming up and doing a side cast. So instead of having the rod go this way, come around, build a compact loop, and just try to drive it off the water going like this way. A short Skagit head will allow you to do that a little easier. As you all know, fishing on these creeks, a lot of times we'll have a really good run with nice fast water, really good flows, and then we got a lot of dead water. So since we're fishing really short, everything's kind of compact, it's very pinpoint. Right now, being in the winter, a lot of our fish are sitting in a little bit more of the pools, but the problem with the pools, they can have a lot of dead water. It's not to mean that it's dead, in that the water's current's not too fast, so our swing will die. So what I'm doing is, as the fly's coming through and the line's coming through and the swing's coming out and it starts to hit that slower water where the presentation, the swing will just die and everything will lay on the bottom, what I'm going to do is start stripping, just little twitch strips, and some fishing streamers and wet flies. That little twitch, aka I just go streamer fishing basically. I start just working a line, and what that'll do is that'll extend the amount of productive fishing time your fly's in the water. Yeah, the fish could be underneath that good current, but a lot of times in this cold weather, they could be just as easy on the slack water, in the back eddies, or anywhere else. So as that fly comes out, start fishing it on a strip and start working a little bit of drag into your line, get the tip into the current, get a bigger bow in there. That'll help keep your fly moving. And then just start stripping that, and just you kind of got to time it before it lays on the bottom, then you're just going to hang in the weeds and the rocks. But if you can do that while your fly's still a little higher in the water column, you can keep that fly alive, keep it coming across those fish, and continue the presentation. So this is where you're seeing me just kind of, as it's coming around, I just start stripping and starting to manipulate the line. All I'm doing is trying to keep the fly alive a little longer through the swing. Well, thanks for watching this fishing tip, folks. If you have any other tips you'd like us to show, please put that down in the comment. We're going to finish this little tip up. We tend to do a lot more, so we're going to be always asking you for tips that you'd like to see. Please put them in the comment. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting us. As always, if you could, just hit that subscribe button. It always helps. Thanks for watching. See you in the river. Hope the tip helps. This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.